The Galaxy Eyes archetype is definitely one of my favorites. Although technically it's not its own archetype and more of a composition of Galaxy and Photon cards, for simplicity, I'll be referring to it as the Galaxy Eyes archetype. The archetype first appeared in Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal, primarily being used by Kite but later being used by Mazar. In terms of design, I think this is one of the best looking archetypes there is, with all of the boss monsters having their own unique feel while still all keeping to the main theme. And the boss monsters are also where this archetype really shines, almost like a photon. Anyway, terrible jokes aside, Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon was first released in the Zexal 2011 collectible tins Wave 2, where it was the cover art of its own tin. I mean, its name is literally right there on the tin. It was the Galaxy Eyes tin, and shortly after its debut, it featured in Photon Shockwave, which was a photon themed set, which contained a grand total of 5 photon cards. So the archetype didn't get off to a great start, but there was still time for it to grow and develop. So in 2012, the set Order of Chaos was released, which brought some more support, including cards such as Photon Lizard, Crusher, Circle, Thrasher, Leo, and Twin Photon Lizard. The Premium Collection tin also came out that year, which saw the release of Photon Wyvern, Sanctuary, and Current. However, this wasn't a huge contribution to the archetype. However, later that year, the release of Galactic Overlord brought the debut of Neo Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon, which was arguably the first boss monster of the archetype. However, in 2013, the Zexal Collection tin brought a large amount of new support for the Galaxy Eyes archetype, including the introduction of the cards Photon Pirate, Satellite, Slasher, Curry Photon, and also a few Galaxy cards including Galaxy Wizard, Knight, Expedition, and Zero. At this point, the archetype was becoming a bit more playable, and on top of this, new support would continue to arrive almost every year. 2014 brought the set Primal Origin, which brought 2 big boss monsters for the archetype, those being number 62 Galaxy Eyes Prime Photon Dragon and number 107 Galaxy Eyes Tachyon Dragon. Then in 2015, the release of World Superstars saw the cards Galaxy Eyes Cloud Dragon, Galaxy Soldier, and Photon Stream of Destruction be released. 2015 also had the release of the set Crossed Souls, which saw the introduction of Galaxy Eyes Full Armor Photon Dragon. In 2016, Dragons of Legend Unleashed came out, which brought Galaxy Eyes Cypher Dragon and Galaxy Stealth Dragon. Now, Galaxy Eyes Cypher Dragon is a good card, but unfortunately the Cypher archetype doesn't work well with Photon or Galaxy cards, and I'm not sure why this is. They were literally used by Kite, who introduced Galaxy Eyes, and personally this doesn't really make sense to me. I feel like this was a great opportunity to strengthen the Galaxy Eyes archetype. Maybe they were trying not to oversaturate the archetype as it already consisted of Galaxy and Photon cards. But regardless, in 2017 Neo Galaxy Eyes Cypher Dragon was released as part of Duelist Pack Dimensional Guardians, and in 2018 we had a lot of quality support come to the Galaxy Eyes archetype. In the set Legendary Duelist White Dragon Abyss, Starliege Photon Blast Dragon, Photon Vanisher, Orbital, Change, and Hand were released. And following this, the release of Battles of Legend Relentless Revenge brought number 90 Galaxy Eyes Photon Lord, which is a great monster that works really well with the archetype. And next up, the set Soul Fusion brought Galaxy Cleric, Brave, Trance, and Galaxy Eyes Soulflare Dragon, which was the first and only Galaxy Eyes Link monster to be released. And finally, 2018 brought an upgraded version of Galaxy Eyes Cypher Dragon in the form of Galaxy Eyes Cypher Blade Dragon, which was released in the set Extreme Force Special Edition. And in 2019, Photon Advancer was released in the set Dual Power. The year 2021 brought the set Legendary Duelist Season 2, and in this set, Galaxy Eyes Afterglow Dragon was released, a fantastic support card for the archetype. And at this point it was clear that the level of support wasn't the same as previous years. However, what was lacking in quantity was made up for with quality. And in 2023 we had the release of the set Photon Hypernova, which contained Photon Emperor, Time Stop, Galaxy Summoner, Galactic Haribo, number C62 Neo Galaxy Eyes Prime Photon Dragon, Galaxy Photon Dragon, and Galaxy 100. And this year, 2024, we've had 2 Tachyon monsters released in the OCG, Tachyon Cloud Dragon and Galaxy Eyes Tachyon Primal, as well as the spell Tachyon Spiral of Destruction and the trap Lord of the Tachyon Galaxy. This archetype is versatile. It consists of many different sub-archetypes like Tachyon, Photon, and Galaxy. So let's talk a little bit about the playstyle. So the Galaxy Eyes archetype is very extra deck heavy, and it has a lot of boss monsters that you can use, and the boss monster that people choose to use will vary from deck to deck, but there's various options. And some of the attack power that's possible with this deck is actually kind of ridiculous. If you summon number 62 with Galaxy Eyes Afterglow Dragon as material, and then you detach Afterglow to use number 62's ability, it will have a total of 11,200 attack. So some of the strengths of a Galaxy Eyes deck would be powerful Xyz monsters that are relatively easy to make. Lots of extenders in the deck, which allows for a lot of Xyz monsters to flood the board. This can also allow you to combo some effects between Xyz monsters and have several boss monsters on the field. And as a side note to build on this, there's a lot of Xyz monsters that you can overlay into other Xyz monsters, which just allows for a bit more versatility. However, Galaxy Eyes decks do suffer from one main weakness: inconsistency. Once you have a few cards on the field or in the graveyard, you should be able to play Galaxy Eyes relatively easily. However, the issue is the starter. It's hard to start making combos when you can't actually summon anything. This can stem from having too many high level monsters, as there's a lot of level 8s in the deck generally. This can also be a problem for cards like Photon Vanisher, as if you don't have any other monsters to summon, the card's kind of useless. The same kind of problem would come if you had Galaxy Knight in your opening hand. Although it's a useful card, with no other monsters to summon, it does become redundant. However, there are some ways around this. With the monster Galaxy Soldier, you can use its effect to search another Galaxy Soldier, and then overlay both into Cyber Dragon Nova and then Cyber Dragon Infinity. This can at least start you off with a decently powerful monster and a free negation every turn. This play would also work really well if your second monster that you send to the graveyard via Galaxy Soldier's effect is Photon Emperor, as then you'll get to summon that from the graveyard and gain an extra normal summon of a light monster. And also this play works well if you do have Galaxy Expedition in your hand, because this will really let you start creating those boss monsters from the extra deck, of which you have many options, including monsters outside of the archetype that just happen to work really well with the deck, such as number 38. So we've discussed the history of the archetype, as well as its strengths and weaknesses, but to finish, I'd just like to discuss the design of the archetype, both in the card art as well as in the anime. Across Photon, Galaxy, Cypher, and Tachyon cards, I think there's a consistent theme throughout the artwork that really ties them together. Most of these cards include a space-related background, either utilizing a similar or contrasting color to the monsters that appear in the card artwork. Some of my favorites include Galaxy Eyes Afterglow Dragon, number 90 Galaxy Eyes Photon Lord, and Galaxy Eyes Cypher Dragon. In terms of their appearance in the anime, it's important to mention that the Galaxy Eyes archetype emerged in Zexal, and this was a time where the animation was shifting to a lot more 3D models, which a large portion of the Yu-Gi-Oh fanbase did not enjoy and much preferred the 2D animation. And while I can understand both perspectives, I think the Galaxy Eyes monsters are some of the best to appear in 3D models. And particularly in Zexal, I think there was something about the 3D that kind of suited this archetype, but that's just my opinion. Whether you agree or not is up to you. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a comment and let me know what archetype you'd like to see next.